Time to see if I can keep this one at an even vaguely, moderately decent length, but we are going for it. So, I know I always say, oh, I've done all of the Korean transforming robot toys that I own, and then more come out. And that's pretty much the same thing here. Thought I was done when I said it last time. I am not done. This time around, looking at Metal Cardbot Black Hook. And I have to say, as much as I'm kind of lukewarm on the whole card thing for the Metal Cardbot things, I do appreciate the fact that the English name of the character is on the card. So if I ever forget, I can just look at this and it's like, oh yeah, that's their name. So yeah, Black Hook. And Black Hook, as you can see, is a pirate ship. And this is cool. I actually, when I saw that this figure existed, I was kind of like, okay, Metal Cardbot is neat in its own way. Fleta Z is cool, but I'm not really into the series that much. And I'm still not like getting everything or anything like that. But when I saw Black Hook, it was just like, okay, well, I have to get that because it's a pirate ship that turns into a pirate robot. It's too good to pass up. Also, it's got a really nice blue and gold color combination, which, as we saw a few videos ago with Legacy Dreadwing, Astrid's being weird. As we saw with Legacy Dreadwing, you know, blue and gold with a little bit of red. Fantastic color combination. And same deal here. And yeah, this is very cool. I'm kind of afraid that Metal Cardbot will do more stuff like this because it'll be really hard for me to resist. But also, like, how often do we get a robot that turns into a pirate ship? Boats do happen. I can think of a handful off the top of my head that have happened in Transformers, but like pirate ships, the only other pirate ship transforming figure I can think of is Web Diver Galleon or Garyun, which I feel like I kind of wish I still had that, but oh well. But anyway, yeah, I like that. Those are the only two I can think of. There may be more, but it's a much rarer occurrence than a regular boat, and boats aren't super common either. And this is neat. There are definitely some concessions that have been made in this mode, though. So, as I said, it's got the blue and gold overall color scheme, which does look good, though it is a shame that you've got this really nice gold paint going along the trim here, and it just stops. I wish that they did some of that gold paint along here too, to just keep this line going. Like, not even all the way across, because, you know, this bit's not gold, it starts here. But I feel like if maybe they did this bit going up to here and maybe stop here, it would flow a little bit better. I could try painting it myself. I don't know. I guess I'll consider that. Maybe I'll paint all the gold plastic gold like I did with Tobot V Classic. I don't know. We'll see. But point is, it still looks good. You've got some more detail along the side here, like what I'm assuming are supposed to be spots for the cannons, but they could just be portholes. There's also one here that's not painted. But those are painted red. You got the eye there, and I think this is cool too, how the Metal Cardbot vehicles have eyes on their vehicle modes, so Black Hook has eyes on the boat, but it's cool because you've got this one eye up here, and then when you turn it over, the other eye has this little bit of a battle scar around it, which is neat. And it's actually molded in there too. It's molded and then painted, so that's cool. Though it is that red is very dull. I wish they'd either gone with a different color or done this red like they did this red so it stood out more. Maybe they did it because they wanted it to look different, like be a different shade or tone from the other colors that are being used here, but I feel like I don't know, it's a little dark, so it kind of fades into the dark blue. But other than that, you've got, you know, some more detail around the back, like the cabin section back here. The sails have this really nice gold patterning on them, including the shark coming up over the ribbon. Could be waves or something, I don't know. It looks neat. And some open space on the deck. there are some nifty boat-like things to this, but then there are some other things where I feel like if they were able to do a little bit more with it, it would have been more successful. Because like this works as the cabin section of the boat, but then you've got very obvious robot torso just right here, and pretty much the entire back section of the ship is taken up by this and like this, and that's just kind of a shame. And also, if you look at it from the top, you can totally see through this as robot thighs. Yeah, like looking at it like this, it's fine. You know, this works. And I do appreciate that this section of the boat, at least, is, or ship, whatever, is, you know, more actually ship-like. But it could have been handled a little bit better back here, I think. I mean, maybe not because, you know, it's a kid's toy, but it is what it is. And then you also have some molded and painted anchors back here on both sides, and very obvious robot fists. And also they painted the back here for some reason. I don't really understand why they would spend that paint on the back and not do more along the sides or front, which are a little bit more obvious for vehicle mode. And this is also the back of the robot mode, so yeah, it's fine. I just think, you know, that paint maybe could have gone somewhere else. But regardless, it's a cool boat, ship, whatever. It looks neat. There are even like tiny stairs molded in here, which is pretty cool. But it definitely is a little compromised for the sake of being a, you know, relatively simplistic toy for children. And like more of a toy for children than Transformers toys typically are these days. Like this is more for a younger collectors, let's say. You know, I was going to do size comparisons, but real quick, yes, hi Astrid. Let's take a look at Black Hook's card. And there you can see there is the character art and the name, and it's in blue and gold, like the ship, with some nice detailing and paint in there, and then around back it is, you know, a mess of a thing that will become the weapon. And just like Fleta Z's card, even though this looks like it's black plastic, it is actually translucent. It's just incredibly dark translucent plastic. It's like a very dark green, I think. We'll take a look at it more when we do the actual transformation for this thing, because I don't want to pop this off just yet, but yeah. And for a quick comparison, just because here is Fleta Z's card, so you can see that they're, you know, the same size, same patterning and everything like that. Like the molding is, from what I can tell, identical. It's just this is blue, this is black, the same spots are painted in gold, and then the sticker makes it a different character. Though, okay, the molding's not identical. The patterning of the molding is identical, but the peg holes are in different locations and different shapes and stuff. But the actual sculpt is identical. But then this is like very clearly different. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let us now move on to our size comparisons. So, since this is a Korean robot, as you'd expect, Black Hook is pretty decently sized, though he is smaller than Fleta Z, which was kind of a surprise. I thought that Fleta Z was like one of the smaller metal Cardbot figures, but apparently that is not the case. So yeah, bringing in the regular size comparisons, Black Hook is still a really decently sized boat. Just, as I said, not as big as previous offerings. Hi, Astrid. Yes, hello. She's being very, very needy right now. Let's get these out of here so we can do some more comparisons. Keep this moving. And I'm sure at some point as this video goes on, she's going to jump up into my lap, possibly knock the camera, possibly get in front of the camera. There she goes. She's in my lap now. Okay, honey. Hi. Yes, hello. I need to reach these. You don't have to. Okay. And she's off my lap. Easy come, easy go, I guess. I had to reach my other size comparisons, and she's on my lap, so that makes it more difficult. But anyway, since we're talking about other Metal Cardbot stuff, here is Black Hook with Fleta Z, And yeah, here you can kind of see a little bit better how Pledesi is a much bigger vehicle. I mean, I don't know if this tracks scale-wise. They're bigger vehicles. Like Pledesi is noticeably bigger and heavier, has more mass than Black Hook, which I don't care about vehicle scale, but it is kind of interesting just how drastically different the sizes are between the different Metal Cardbot figures. So let's get Pledesi out of here and do one more Korean toy comparison. We gotta bring out the mainstay, the MVP, the the always a winner figure that is Tobot v Wild Chief. And again, like Wild Chief, I think this is more similar in size and overall mass. Wild Chief does feel a little bit heavier, but they seem a little bit closer in terms of overall plastic content, I guess you could say. So yeah, that is how that breaks down. And lastly, the most important size comparison of them all, here is Black Hook with the Duck Tank. Now, before we launch into the transformation, if you like this video or any of the other videos that I've done on the channel and you would like to support it, I do have a Patreon, links in the description. It's a single $1 tier, so that $1 a month will get you early access to new videos. So if you want to see videos a couple days before everyone else, that's an option. If you'd rather support the channel without doing a subscription thing, there's also a Ko-fi that I have set up. Links for that in the description below as well. Otherwise, you could always do the, like, comment, share, subscribe thing if you want to support in ways that don't require money. With all of that said, let us transform Black Hook. So, there are lots of different ways you can start. I'm going to do the sails first, but I think this is really cool how the sails work. So they accordion down like this and kind of peg and clip into a couple of places. And that just kind of flattens them out. Then can, let's see, then we're going to pop these bits out. And they, this kind of nub sits inside here. So you just kind of want to pull that down. And we can rotate this all the way back and then rotate it until you feel it kind of not exactly lock into place, but it definitely kind of bunks into place. Now that this area is freed up, we can split the legs. So we just split them in half, bring them out, and we can unpeg the what is this, like figurehead, I guess, ish section, the bow of the ship. This just pegs in here and here, so unpeg that, and well, we'll deal with this real quick. So with that unpegged, and then split this blue section down the middle, and that gives us a melee weapon, which we'll look at more later. I really like that weapon, by the way. Anyway, now these bits from the bow of the ship fold up, give them toes, and then these bits fold down, provide heels. And then you can bring the legs down. They're not going to come down all the way because of this thing, but they come down most of the way. Now you can split the back section, bring that all out to the side. This piece will hinge up. I'm actually going to tilt the head back a little bit. So this unclips from back here. Like there's the spot where that clips in. And then this comes up and will clip up here. And this clips in the other part, the other side, and now we've got the backpack all set up, and now we can bring the legs back the rest of the way. So there is that. And we won't get fancy with the posing just yet. There's that. Now for the arms, you want to hinge the arm out a little bit so you can bring it down, rotate it, and then flip the fist forward. And from this side, you can see, bring it out, rotate it, flip the fist, and lastly, then rotate the head 180 degrees, and there we have Metal Cardbot Black Hook in robot mode. And this is pretty cool. He's a robot pirate, a blue and gold robot pirate, and he looks really neat. I really love these sails because they make the shins and knees, so you can see they extend out from there. And I just really like how this all compacts down and kind of clicks and settles into place and, stays out of the way, cleans up real nice. I feel like if you didn't know that those became sails, you wouldn't really know looking at them in robot mode. And it's just neat. I think that's a really cool detail. I like what they did there. Now, trying to figure out what's straight here with the limbs because these angles are a little weird, but that's fine. Like we'll address that when we get to the articulation. But yeah, this is a cool looking robot. I love how you still have that like red and blue and gold with a bit more white now. It just looks really neat. There's a lot more detail that was visible in vehicle mode or in the ship mode that you can now see better. Like these red bits here that were at the top of this bit in vehicle in ship mode, those are now at the forefront. So those stand out nicely. I like this red that happens around the foot to kind of, separate things out a bit. And of course, the detailing from the sails adds a lot of color breakup in the shins as well. Got some new detail with the nicely molded thighs and hip sections, along with these nice little gold circles that have been painted in the hips, which is nice. Some gold plastic and paint for the belt and the midsection. I really think the midsection's cool too. This definitely looks kind of like a coat or suit jacket or whatever they were, like some kind of naval garb that like an officer would wear. Or possibly like the kind of jacket that a pirate would wear, except it being blue and gold makes it feel more like, it's like an official Navy thing. But it's cool. And then I got like some added detail. Like I love the flared out shoulders. These bits, they both work as the back end of the ship, but they also kind of look like shoulder decoration flourishes that you might see on like old-timey naval uniforms. Specifically like, official stuff for like officers and whatnot. And also the forearms. I really like what's going on here with like the red and blue separation with that band of gold between them. And then this piece here that adds almost like a fin that flares out a bit. This like gold plastic and then the silver painted anchors. It's very cool. And the white almost kind of makes it seem like he's wearing gloves, which again kind of fits with that naval uniform feel, even though he's a pirate. Maybe he's like former Navy officer who became a pirate. I don't know. But it's very cool, and I really like the detailing. Lots of really nice molded detail and some really wonderful colors, as I've said. It's good stuff. And around the back, pretty clean, all things considered, because this is just the bottom of the ship. And got a little bit of hollowness in the backs of the fists, but that's fine. Backs of the shoulders have really nice molded detail, even if it's not painted. The backpack section, it almost works as like a jetpack type thing, or possibly a cape, though it doesn't, it's not full or anything like that. But it's still neat. And you've got, I don't know, like missile pods or something up here? I don't know. It looks cool, though. It's a neat robot that looks neat. And the head is also really cool. And this is something that I thought was a neat detail with that, the way that the ship has the eyes on it. Because remember, one side is a regular eye, one side is an eye with a scar on it. And then when you look at the robot head, one eye has a patch, or is all red, like completely covered. And the one that's red is on the same side as the one with the scar in the vehicle mode. I think that's cool. I think that's a neat detail. Also, this head is fantastic. It's got a sort of pseudo Gundam look in just like the face, with that mouth plate and the eyes that are kind of set back in like that little black section, the gold eye. It doesn't have the little beard thingy, but it does have that little red trim around the bottom, which kind of evokes that. That's why I'm kind of getting a Gundam feel from this, just from the face. But then for the rest of it, you've got this really ornate naval hat that is part of the head/helmet, and that looks great too. It's, shaped nicely. It's got the kind of ornate bits on like the sides and the front. And I love that the trim is done all the way around in gold, in addition to the gold around these little like circles that could be ears, I don't know. And then in the front, you of course have that white and gold symbol, like a star, possibly the North Star because naval navigation, I don't know. It's probably not, but it's a neat detail. It looks good, and it comes together with that face and like the kind of patched eye look. It's a really cool head sculpt, and this fits the vibe of the entire robot mode so well. Also, I like the little kind of jewel in the chest there. That's neat. Now for articulation, the head is on a ball joint that, as you can see, is very, very well ranged. It's remarkably expressive, so you can go up pretty far, down pretty far, side to side really far, and as you saw for the transformation, the head can rotate all the way around however you want. Though you might want to be careful because if you push it forward, like some bits may touch here, you could have paint scraping against paint. So just, it won't touch as long as you're mindful of how you have the head angled as you're turning, but it's just something to be mindful of. The arms can go all the way around on a, as you can hear, possibly, definitely see a ratchet. They can go in and out. Can only go out that far if you get this bit out of the way. They can go out a little further, but not by much. But it's fine for what it is, Also, I kind of like that this fits inside here, so it normally would like crash into this and that'd be it, but you can go a little further because of that cut. I just like that. You get a bicep swivel, which is rare for these kinds of things, so I love that you get an actual bicep swivel. And you get a 90-degree bend at the elbow. The fists can't rotate, but you can angle them down if you wanted to. They do actually have 2 clicks, so you can do one in between like the transformation to robot mode versus vehicle mode. Let's bring these forward. There is no waist articulation, unfortunately. That feels like a missed opportunity because this piece isn't impeded in robot mode at all. It's only like this sits well above the waist in robot mode, and when it's in vehicle mode, it comes down and clips in here. So I feel like if they had put a waist swivel in there, it would have been okay because this would have locked the waist swivel in place. So they totally could have gotten away with it, but they didn't. I'm assuming there's a reason for it, but that's still just kind of a disappointment. Not a deal breaker, just a disappointment. The hips can go forward to 90 and back to about there until they hit the backpack. If the backpack out of the way, they can go back a lot further. Also, if you want, you can unclip the backpack from there and angle it up. Launch missiles, I guess. I don't know. The legs can go out to 90. Unfortunately, they don't go out up further like it looks like they should, but you can kind of see there's a cut in the joint there, and just it stops at 90, so you're not going to go out any further than that, which is fine. That's plenty. And then you've got a thigh rotation, which is also kind of a surprise for some of these things, but I love that he has it. And a almost 90-degree bend at the knee, and then if you want to, you can move the toe down and like adjust the heel. So he's pretty posable for what he is. Yeah. The way I like to pose him usually is doing like the kind of unnecessarily dynamic pose with like the knees pressed, pushed forward a little bit, the legs, the hips rotated back, head rotated, like, looking down. So he's kind of like doing the hero stance, which may be a little silly, a little cartoony, but he's a robot pirate that turns into a pirate ship, so yeah. Now this is really cool. I like this weapon a lot because it's the front of the boat, along with like the whatever this bit is called that sticks out of the front. and like, you know, where the figurehead would go. But when you open it up, it becomes an anchor. And I think that's amazing. That is such a clever and simple thing because it makes a melee weapon, but like it's such a perfect, if not maybe thematically cheeky melee weapon for a robot that turns into a pirate ship. You know, give him a giant anchor to clobber things with. That's very cool. I really like that. It's nicely detailed. It's broken up enough that it doesn't feel too monochromatic. It would be nice if there was a little more detailing on it, but it's fine. But yeah, it just slides into the hand and it looks really cool. I love that. I absolutely love that. And you may notice the camera is wiggling. That is because Astrid is on my lap and enjoying it. Now back to the card. We already looked at that bit, so we're going to pop this front piece off and transform it into the proper weapon. So that off to the side. And here you can kind of see what I'm talking about, how the plastic is like a really, really dark translucent green. So yeah, still clear plastic, but very dark clear plastic. Anyway, with that popped open, and fold this piece down, fold this entire thing in, and that kind of pegs together. And now there are these little nubbins here and here. You want to grab both of those at the same time and pull them forward, and that will extend the barrel. And then this piece flips forward to become a sight, and now you've got this giant ornate cannon thing. And this is actually kind of cool. Like, it looks good. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the integration, which we'll get to in a second. But this is a cool looking weapon. I really like the gold trim around the really dark translucent green plastic. It's a nice contrast. The deco is nice. The banding going around is nice. It makes it look kind of like a cannon, which I'm sure is the point. But like a cannon with a big robotic sight on one side. You've even got some additional bits down here that kind of look like extra barrels. And it's a cool weapon. The thing that sucks about it is there's only one place you can store, or not store, there's only one place you can attach this in robot mode. Fleta Z gets that bow, which you can put in a hand, which is great. This cannot be held. If you notice, there's no peg or anything for it to be held, and this is not going to fit in that fist. And there you can see that it is translucent plastic. You can see him through there. But there is this bit here. This will clip into this somewhat suspicious clip section on this shoulder, because this is the outside of the vehicle, so this doesn't clip into anything when you're transforming him. So this clips in here, and that gives him a shoulder-mounted cannon, which it's cool, but it's also kind of like I have issues with this. One being the sight is lining up with the eye that's got the patch on it. I feel like it would have made more sense if this clipped onto this shoulder and the sight was on the other side, so that the eye that doesn't appear to be damaged or covered up would be looking through it. Maybe there's a reason for this. It may be in the show. I haven't watched it, but that part's a little bit weird. The other thing that's unfortunate is because it's attached to his shoulder, it will hinder the articulation of the arms, specifically the shoulder rotation. But aside from that, because the shoulders are on ratchets, if you angle it down like that, now the sight's like his eye can't look into it, and if you try to angle it up, it can't go any higher because it's banging into the back kibble or the backpack. So you don't really have much in the way of options. You can, like if you really wanted to, you could fold in the sight. So then he just has a shoulder-mounted cannon without a sight on it, which is fine. And I think that also kind of works on its own. And that you can at least not have to worry about how it lines up with the eye. But I'm just not super thrilled with this as an accessory. It just seems like it would have been better if it attached somewhere else, like maybe on a forearm. Like that would have been cool. Like if this, maybe if it didn't have the flip out sight and could just like, you know, attach on the underside of the forearm or something like that, that would make sense. But it can't do that. It cannot do that, though. No, yeah. I remember seeing this when I first got it. I was like, there's a tab there. Maybe I can tab it in somewhere else on the robot mode. But no, that tab is for the this. And it just really stinks. I feel like this would look so cool if it could attach like that, but it doesn't. It is what it is. Now, I kind of did things. No, I didn't do things out of order. I did articulation. What am I thinking? I think I'm just off my game a little bit because of having a cat in my lap. But yeah. Black Hook looks incredibly cool. The transformation is interesting and fun. I like how this guy does his thing. I love the pirate theming and the anchor melee weapon. This guy's incredibly cool. Also, you do get a little bit of like butterfly motion up here, but it can't go back far enough with this in the way, so you're not really gonna get much use out of that. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I want to say, like, this guy, if I still had Tobot v Captain Jack, which I don't, unfortunately, I did want to get another one to reacquire him and maybe do some customization again before doing the video on this guy, but the place I was going to buy him from sold out, and now I can't find him anywhere. So maybe someday down the line I'll get another Captain Jack, but this is more what I wish Captain Jack was. I love Captain Jack's aesthetic and how he kind of does the shark thing, the shark motif throughout. He does. Black Hook doesn't have the shark motif, even though it's on the sails, but he really carries the naval motif and the pirate motif, and it's another blue pirate robot, and it would have been a great comparison to make. Also, he's got a lot more posability than Captain Jack. And he turns into something that I think Captain Jack's alt mode is cool, but he turns into a car. Like, yes, it's a stylized futuristic sports car with a shark style to it, which is weird, but I love it. But like, this guy turns into a pirate ship. That's even more unique. So yeah, Black Hook, excellent figure, looks fantastic, and is really easy to make look pretty dynamic, as we're seeing here. Now, size-wise, he is smaller than other Korean robots. Like I said, he's still big because he's a Korean transforming robot toy, but not as big as some of the other ones we've looked at before. So here we can see him with Rotor Storm and Art Fire, and let's get Over Prime lined up in the back there. And there's Samus. And there's Burnout. And let's put Samus in front of Burnout. Seems rude to hide her back there. So yeah, Black Hook is definitely big. He's, I guess, maybe roughly like between leader and commander height, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't know. But there is that. And get all these back out of the way. And I forgot to talk about this, so I'm going to talk about this real quick, even though it's in the middle of the size comparisons. This thing, like with Fleta Z, nowhere to store it officially. But I did find that what you can do is if you slide it in here, like right in this gap, like these are close enough together that this can't come out this way. And if you angle it, you can basically prop this up either against the hips or down here against the knees. I just prefer to do hips, but you can angle it and prop it up like that, so that keeps that little card out of the way. And you don't even really notice it. It kind of fills in this bit to make it look more like a cape. And yeah, that is how I store that card, because that card is a little bit annoying, just like it is with Fleta Z. but that's how they do the thing. Now, let's bring in Fletazy, speaking of, and yeah, here is where it's a little bit more obvious, I think, that Black Hook is a little smaller, definitely shorter, less bulk than Fletazy. So yeah, it's I guess he qualifies as one of these smaller sized figures. I don't think they do like Deluxe and Voyager and whatnot in Metal Cardbot, but I feel like if they did, Fletazy would probably be more like a Voyager and Black Hook would probably be more like a Deluxe. I don't know. But at the same time, Black Hook has better, like more standard articulation and is a pirate robot, so there is that. I mean, I still think Fletazy is really awesome, but if I had to pick between the two, I would absolutely pick Black Hook. And now, as I was saying before, here we've got Tobot v Wild Chief, and here you can see kind of what I was saying, how Black Hook's kind of more in this size range. He's a little bit smaller than Wild Chief, yes, but only a little bit. So I think this is more kind of, this is more along these lines in terms of overall size and bulk. But again, Wild Chief is a little bit denser and heavier. But that's not what you're all here to see, right? You're all here to see this. So here we go. Here we have our final size comparison, the best size comparison. Metal Cardbot Black Hook with the Duck Tank. And that will do it for Metal Cardbot Black Hook. As I've already said many times, this is an incredibly cool figure. He's not perfect. He is, a little bit undersized comparatively with other Korean transforming robot toys. Comparatively. He's not small, he's just smaller than a lot of the others. And, the articulation is great. It's, they did a lot with the articulation. I still am a little disappointed they didn't work in a torso rotation, or waist rotation rather, but whatever. Outward motion on the arms could be better, but again, given what this is, that's fine. Really, the only thing that truly disappoints me is the weapon integration, because it looks really cool. It's just where you're forced to attach it isn't the best spot. But aside from that, this is a fantastic figure. I love the transformation. The alt mode looks great. The robot mode looks amazing, even if he's missing some details. Like, just going by what was on the box art versus what the figure looks like, he is missing some details, but that's fine. And I mean, looking at the toy versus the box art, like some of the stuff that's painted on the toy isn't painted on the box art or isn't colored on the box art, so it's really weird. I don't know if it's like something was based off of concept art that never got used or what, but yeah. Making this guy color accurate to the show would be incredibly difficult to do. He wouldn't, I wouldn't mind more detail being picked out, but what you have is fantastic. And that will do it. As I said, this guy is great, and because he's smaller, he's actually one of the cheaper ones, or at least was one of the cheaper ones when I got him. And if you're interested in getting one for yourself, I will try to remember to include a link down in the description to my video on using Gmarket. I still use Gmarket from time to time to order stuff from Korea. The shipping costs are definitely more than they used to be, unfortunately, but that's just kind of how it is now. And the thing is, even with the increased shipping costs, it's actually still cheaper to get stuff through Gmarket if you're looking at like the cheaper listings than it is to get them off of like Korean sellers on eBay and Amazon. And not by a little bit either. We're talking like 10, 20, 30 plus bucks that you're saving even with the jacked up shipping prices. So something to consider. But anyway, that is enough of me rambling about the pirate guy. So what do you all think of this guy? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Thank you everybody for watching, and I need to figure out what the next video is going to be, but that's gonna be a while because Well, a while before I record it, not a while before you all see it, because I still have an Astrid in my lap, and she is very, very cozy.